I'm going to open the Tableau here. I have like building permits is there. That data set is there as well. So so when you open the Tableau, this is what you're going to see. Okay. Uh, you can connect to a lot of files here, but this is like a student version, so they don't give you a lot of access to other data sources, but you know it has ton of other sources. You can connect to the Excel file, text file, MS Access database, statistical file like R. Then you can connect to the Tableau server, Microsoft SQL, MySQL, Oracle. All these are client-based software, client server-based architecture. Okay. So we're gonna use a simple text file. Okay. That if you are working with me, make sure you go to the Blackboard and download that file. Usually, what I do is let's do it from the beginning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the Blackboard here. First of all, I will make a folder on my desktop. Okay. So make a folder, say Tableau in class. Okay. So once you make the folder on the desktop, I'm gonna store my file there. So I'm gonna go to session 1 here. Then I'll go to Tableau data set to be covered in class here, and I'm gonna click on CSV file. So there's a CSV file. Yeah, that's pretty big file. It's gonna take some time. 16.9 MB file. Yes. No, you don't need to do anything. It's gonna work on Mac. Okay. The only thing that doesn't work is the MS Access file. Okay, which I'm gonna show you next time. But this one, if it's already downloaded, I usually go to the folder here and drag my file or put it in my desktop. So you can do it any way you want it. Okay. Okay. So are you guys with me so far? If you want me to slow down, let me know. But this is the folder I created on the desktop, and that's the file we have there. So we're gonna work with that file. Okay. So far so good. Okay. So I want to open up this file and see what it got. But we can open that in Tableau as well. So I'm going to do that because otherwise it's going to eat up a lot of my memory. I'll slow down the process. I'm going to open in Tableau anyway. So what I'm going to do here is CSV file is a text file. Okay. And it doesn't matter. Even if you're using Mac, you should be able to access the text file. Okay. So click on the text file here, and I'm going to go to that folder, which is Tableau in class. Okay, where is my folder? Tableau in class. Okay, and I'm going to select that file. Okay, so you should get this view here, right? That's if you're carefully looking at it, it's a data source view. Okay, so we are working in the data source view here, and we connect it to the data. Okay, probably I'll be better off opening in just to show you the data. I'll open it up here. So this data, again, this data set is, I downloaded it from the Tableau website. Okay? This is about building Seattle. So So every city, they issue permits, building permits, okay, throughout the city for different construction reasons. Okay, so this data set is coming from Seattle city, and then it has many different information here. For example, that's what I don't want. Okay, so let's see what kind of information it has. Okay. So what do you see here? You have application number, right? Permit number, right? So every construction has a permit number, whatever, whether you're building a single family home or constructing a warehouse or commercial building or whatnot. Are you with me? Or institution. The permit number, the permit type is there, whether it's a construction, site development, demolition, what kind of permit was it? Are you with me? Right? And then it has address, description, category, whether it was single family, commercial, multi-family, right? And it has action type, work type, it has a value which we can use it to our advantage, right? And then applicant name is there, application date, issue date is there, which we can use it to our advantage, expiration date. So it has ton of this information. It has specific longitude and latitude as well. That's like a geographic field. It's gonna give us exact location on the map where the construction is happening. Are you with me? Right? So much data you have. So how much is the data here? So you have around 45,000 permits, right? You see here 45,000 permits. If somebody wants you to analyze this data, just think about it. How would you do it, right? In Excel, you go crazy.
Pivot table.
Yeah, the only thing you have is a pivot table.
Or you sort and start deleting. You're like,
Right.
okay, you want to know what's permanent. Okay, so you go by this application number, you delete everything else.
Delete everything,
You
yeah.
create the pivot table from it, and then if they go back and want that data, you run the data set again.
Right.
And you delete the other stuff, and you
Ton of
go
problems.
back. Yeah.
Ton of problems.
And you just can do pivot tables.
That's the only thing here. Excel is getting better though. They now have power views and other stuff, but still they cannot compare with Tableau here. So our job here is to see the trends, what's happening in this construction permits business. Like I want to see how this data is scattered overall city, which kind of constructions are leading. I want to see the time trend for the different construction type, and that might help us to see whether there are any cyclical patterns there present, which one is doing better, single family or commercial, and or institution and whatnot. Are you with me? Right? So we want to see through the data that's going to help us make the decision. So with that, what we're going to do is I'm going to close this thing here. I'm going to go back to Tableau here, right? So once you bring the data here, you can bring the multiple tables, but we just have one here. It's going to show you all the fields here. Okay, if you see that hash sign, that means it's a numeric field. Okay, ABC means the text field, and if you go across, you'll see all the data here. This is the date field. You see different symbol for the date fields here, right? And you see that circle globe icon, that's the geographic field. It's going to help us create the map. Okay, and other thing. And here you can change the data types as well if you want. For example, application permit is numeric, but you always keep this in mind. You want a field to be numeric if you intend to perform any calculation on that, right? If you want to perform summation, counting, averaging, then the field should be numeric. Otherwise, it should be a text. Application permit is like a unique identifier, like very much like a social security number or driver license number. So each permit is unique to particular construction, right? So it's not serving any purpose here. Just beyond that, it is uniquely identifying each record in the table. By the way, in database term, you call this field as a primary key. If you're familiar with it, the sole job and objective here is to identify each record uniquely, like your social security number or driving license number. Are you with me? So this one we don't need a number, we can change it to string. Okay, so we are pretty much done. We saw, okay, we have all these arrays of things, looks good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building my visualization. So here are the three tabs. Okay, one is the worksheet, and second one is the dashboard. Third thing is a new story point. Okay, so probably we're gonna get to the some worksheets and the dashboard today. Okay, so are you with me so far? Okay, so I'm gonna click on the new worksheet here. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do here is we're gonna create a map that will show the construction trend in the city of Seattle. Okay, so to build the map, what we need to do is first of all, this is called dimension pane, and this is called measures. Okay? Dimensions are categorical field. Okay, they are categories. They are not numbered. They are categories. Measures are the numbers. Okay, so these are the measure by which you're gonna do the grouping or summarization. Okay, and these are dimensions. Okay, so for example, I want to see the map of this entire trend. For example, I want to see how the construction trend is faring up in the entire city of Seattle. Okay, so we saw that each permit type has what we call latitude and longitude. Okay, that kind of gives us a specific point on the map. Are you with me? That globe icon is important because it tells the Tableau that it's a geographic field and it could be mapped. Are you with me? So keep that in mind. Application permit number is not a measure. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag it and put it in the dimension so that we can analyze the data using application permit number. Are you with me? Right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to double click on latitude and longitude. So Tableau will instantly know that it's a map that you're trying to create because those are two globe icons, different data types, and that can be easily mapped. So it's going to give you a point on the map. So what is that point right now on the map? Any idea? Yes, it's city of Seattle, but every permit has its own location, right? So right now, what it's doing is kind of averaging out all the location and giving you a point. Are you with me? So you see the average here, right? Average of all the longitude, average of all the latitude, and created a point. Are you with me? That's not what we want. What we want is we want this to be by every permit type. So I'm going to drag this permit type and bring it to the details section here. I'm going to say add all the members. Right now you see the entire city of Seattle here, right? But still it's not making a lot of sense. It gives you a nice city limit, right? You can see the city limit, but beyond that it's not helping you much. So what else we can do here? For example, I can bring the category to the marks pane. Okay, now we are trying to see some patterns here. Now this is the marks card. Okay, so all these are like cards. Like, you can just use these cards to your surrounding when you're doing data visualization. We're going to work with the filters as well. This is the main view. All the view you're going to see is going to be here. This is the main view window here, and you have columns and rows here, which you can drag and drop your fields by. Okay, are you guys with me so far? Okay, now what we can do here is we can select just a commercial and see how commercial is faring up in the entire city of Seattle. Are you with me? Imagine, can you do this with Excel? No way. It's so difficult to do that in Excel. But Tableau is doing a fairly good job, right? It's giving you a very good visualization so far. Yes.
Does it show you like the volumes of commercial? Like you get actual numbers behind it?
Yes.
And stuff?
Yes. Everything.
Okay.
Everything can get it. For example, right now each circle is of the same size, irrespective of the value, right? For example, what if I want to size this circle by the value of the project, right? So I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the value to the size here, right? You see it now, right? Now it's so beautiful here that you can instantly see where most of the construction is happening. So here you see a lot of circles here. So we can see the commercial, a lot of commercial constructions are happening at the center of the city. Are you with me? Right? And Industrial are happening all over, maybe not as much, but you can see institutional, they are up here, most of the construction happening here. Instantly you see multi-family home, single family home are all over the place. So instantly you start to see a cool visualization, right? Instantly you transform this big nonsensical data into useful insight that's going to help you see the pattern of the construction. Okay. So any questions here so far? Are you guys with me? Some of you are doing it.
So back to the,
Right.
someone would ask you, okay, so looking at this data, what percentage of new construction is single family homes? Can
You can do a lot. Those analytics are there. I need to figure it out, but surely there is a way to see. If you want, you can download this data here. If you right click it and let's say copy this thing here, you can copy the cross tab or the data and put it in an Excel, and there you can do all the calculations there as well. For example, I can open it of Excel here, and then you can run all those calculations if you want. So let's say I'm gonna say, okay, so it's gonna save all the data in a cross tab format. Maybe I did not do a good job pasting it here, but it's gonna help you.
I know when I was looking at the videos, there were ways of putting formulas and sums
Yes.
in there as you go like through the videos and you
Right.
capture data from year to year.
Yes.
All the way through.
Yes,
So
there
I
are.
really think not maybe just on your map, but I even
Right.
it would be more in your graphs.
Yeah, graphs, bar chart.
In that area, you might be able to
Do the percentage. We're gonna do some.
Yeah, because you can really like there's a lot of videos, but I do believe that
Yes.
that is quite capable because they were using like some functions. They were going through and showing you how to get rid of the nil, which throws your data
Right.
off as well.
Right.
And your visualization of the data.
Right.
It does, and then it also goes through the links of it
Right.
on if it's center, left, or right, and what it's telling you on the two charts. So I
Right.
haven't gone through all the way, but
Yeah,
I got a little bit, but I think
you
you
can
go
do
further along in
yes.
advance of it, you could definitely do that, and it'd be
so easy.
it is. It's
Right.
like
It's just a matter of knowing it. And those training videos that she's talking about are very helpful. The link is already on the blackboard. So that's what I want from you guys. I might not be able to cover everything, but I want you to go beyond this thing, bring some of your thinking to the picture and implement using Tableau. Okay, that's gonna help you. But we'll try to do as much as we can here. So probably I can name this sheet here. I guess this I'm gonna call it a map. Okay, so map you might not be able, even if you show the percentage and other stuff, you can do the labels here, but it's not gonna convey a lot of meaning. You want kind of bar chart as she's talking about to convey more meaningful information here. But you guys have any question here so far the map is concerned? Right? You can do a lot of other things here, but I'm gonna just restrict it to the basic right now. Next week we're gonna do more. Okay, but are you following me, some of you? Any questions you might have here? Okay, okay, so let's cover other thing here. So the next we're gonna cover, let's say, bar chart to show the number of permits being issued for each category. Okay, so we have a category here, right? So these are the categories we saw, right? This some of you are already seeing that this is cool, but I want to see more specific things. I want to see maybe the total number of permits by different category being issued, right? So what I can do is I can open a new sheet here and then say, okay, I want category. Let's say category could be in the rows here. I can bring you to the rows, and I want number of permits in the column. So it's going to show me a nice bar. Okay, by that's going to tell you like the number of permits being issued by each category, right? You can color it as well. For example, I can bring the category to the colors pane here, and it's gonna do the same coloring here, right? So it's gonna tell us which category by color as well, like so that it can be uniform throughout the map and the bar chart, right? You can also turn on the label. So for example, if I say here, I'm pretty sure you can do the percentage as well. So for example, let's try to see whether we can do the percentage. Okay. uh, yeah, okay. I need to figure it out, but mm, okay, I'm not gonna waste time right now, but those could be easily done. I wanted to put the dollar symbol in front of those. It's not a dollar anyway, so it's like a number, right? You can also sort this one, right, in the ascending order or descending order, right? Uh, you can fill it up the entire view here if you want. So it's gonna take the entire screen, right? Uh, Sometimes you might be interested in only top three, right? So if you want to find out only, in this case, we only have 5 categories, but sometimes you might have in your project, basically, you might have hundreds of categories. You just want to see top 10 customer. Are you with me? So what I can do is I can bring the category to the filters tab here, right? And I can say top here by field. If I say just 3 here and apply, right? So it's going to give me top 3, right? This is one of the cool features I like in Tableau, right? But I'm going to undo this one right now because I want all the fields there, right? So I just wanted to show you how to do the top field here. So this is a little bit about the bar chart. Again, it's telling you single family home duplex is the category where you are issuing a lot of permits, and then commercial is there, then multifamily is there, and very little in industrial as such. Okay. Yes.
So let's say you did the top three,
Right.
you wanted to use that. Is there a way to like, I know I'll watch the video, I know they'll do that, like almost like screenshot.
Oh yes, that's where the story point is. When you create the stories, you can take the screenshot, and I hope that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
And even you can take a screenshot here, right click it and copy this one and send somebody to as a copy image. You can copy the image and email it someone, so they will have the snapshot of this one. Later on, I'm going to show you how you can put this visualization online with like maybe 1 or 2 clicks. That's it, and they will have entire data visualization online. You just can send the like link to anyone you wish, and they should be able to see the same view, and it's going to be interactive as well.
Like 10 steps behind here.
No worries.
I'm following you. Well,
Right.
that's what I can right now. But just so all this data you have pre-populated in an Excel sheet.
Right.
And then put that in the Tableau, and that's how you drop this.
Right. You need help? I can come maybe spend 5 minutes there if you
No,
want.
I'm with you. I'm
Okay.
very close, but
Where you need help? Where are you? Did you create the charts?
no, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
just like wondering where all this information came from.
Right.
Which I got is just like a random source.
See, yeah, isn't that amazing? Like it's making it so easy.
And
You know,
normally the work it would take to create the chart from that and then rename your
Right.
legend and your label and the sizing
Right.
of it in the chart.
In the
and then
chart.
your colors.
right?
Yes.
That would take
Forever.
And the other thing, I don't know if you discussed this, but there's a show me,
Yeah, show me.
which is really useful.
Very
too,
useful.
And it
Right.
highlights the
Yes.
proper
Yes.
charts relative to the data that you have.
Right.
So it actually will help guide you in creating
Yeah.
either bar chart or if you want a pie chart, if you want something like that.
Let's do this one there. We can do it there as well. For example, here, let's say I want to see the category, and I'm gonna click the control button, number of records, and if you go to the show me, it's gonna highlight all the different ways you can visualize that information. Okay, it's all the different charts already there. So you can select any one of them that fits to your bill. Okay, so right now I want this one here, so I'm going to click that one and I'm going to do the same thing. But show me is very cool, and watch those training videos. You will be amazed, pleasantly surprised how you can use it to your advantage. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna do this thing, and that's it, right? So I'm gonna hide this one here. I'm gonna save this one as, let's say, bar chart, right? uh, Again, I want to show the label. I can show the label here. Label could be anything, it could be the value. If you want to show the value to the label, you can just bring it here and show the value of total value for the project. Okay, and I'm pretty sure you should be able to format this to show the dollar symbol. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do some research later on, but you can do a lot of things there. Okay, but this is just really, you can put anything on the thing. If you don't want to show the value here, what you can do is you can bring it to the tooltip. Okay, which means that if you hover over it, it's gonna show you the value. Right? Isn't that cool? Like, it's like so much thing there. You just put it on the tooltip and it's gonna show it that way. Right? So that's one thing. Let's do another thing. uh, Now we know how the construction is trending by different categories, right? But I want to see the timeline, right? Over the period of 12 months for every year, and see which one is doing better. Is there any seasonality involved? Are you with me? Right? So what we're gonna do here is, uh, I'm gonna click on another one here. So let's see, we want to have the issue date. Hold on, I miss one thing here. I want to, in the map thing, you can also provide a filter. This is for the all the time period. Okay, what if you want to filter the map by the time? You want to select the years that you want to see the data for. Are you with me? So what you can do is, you can issue date, we can convert it into continuous. Okay, so by that it's going to give us a continuous scale which we can use to slide. And I'm going to bring the issue date to the filters pane here, and I'm going to say, okay, give me the range of dates. Okay, click next year, is going to give me this range of dates. I'm going to say okay, apply, and okay, and okay, show me the show filter here. So you see that here. Now this slider, you can use it to select the data range that you want to see the data for, right? And that's pretty cool. Like, I think it's a very cool feature, because now you have additional power to see the data for the time period that you want to look for. Okay, so that's one thing. And here I wanted to see the trend of the permits being issued over the period of 12 months for every year as such. Okay, so let me see that here. Okay, so we're gonna drag the issue date. I like dragging because then I know what I'm doing here. Okay, so it's gonna put the year there. That's perfectly fine, and I want to use number of records here, right? So that's going to be showing me a yearly trend. Okay, now some of you saw how to take care of the null values. Do you remember how they do it?
Lord, no, there's a lot of videos.
Okay, okay.
I'm like, this is like second refresh.
Right, that's good.
This is a lot.
Right, so probably, I guess I'm going to be done soon. I don't have much for today, so probably we can explore after the class how to take care of the null values. Okay,
There's like a Z. You put a Z in front of something in the formula.
okay, okay, okay. So we'll figure it out. That's another thing. Good thing about the information system, like, so our best friend is always with us, like Google, right? So we can always so we can always ask Google if you don't know, and Google will be more than happy to help us. But this is the yearly data, and it has a drill down capability here. So you can quickly change that into quarters or month, right? And if you drop it down, you have a ton of other things. You can go to the days, other format you want, but we are at month right now, right? And this null thing sometimes create a lot of problems. Okay, so we need to be watch out for that. But if you see this construction pattern, you see that there is certain degree of seasonality involved, right? So for example, we see that the construction tends to be going down during the month of November and December, but construction is pretty high during the June, August period, right? June, August period, and that's a cyclical pattern all over the 4 quarters, right? So we have some additional information available now, right? Which we didn't know before, right? Now we can also bring the category to the picture. We can drag the category to the color, and now we have the trend available for each category, right? So we see that what this chart is telling you, we see that there are more variations in single family homes when it comes to issuing permits, right? So permits, like you see, the permits are very down in the month of November, December with their very high single family home, but this pattern is not consistent across category. Are you with me? Right? For example, other multi-family home or institutional or industrial, they are very flat, not much variation. Commercial also doesn't have that much variation, but single family home is kind of standing out, right? So it quickly tells you the variations in the different category. So it's like a timeline chart. Okay, so I'm going to give this a name called timeline, right? So any questions here? Yes.
Um, I have a hard time getting it to stretch from 2010 to 2015.
Okay, can I come and see what you got? Maybe you can help. Please feel free to help each other out, okay, if you can. And I want you to do with me, otherwise I'll be done very fast. Okay, so feel free to follow me, ask me questions, and think through it. Okay. Uh, so we are done with the timeline here. So like this in your project, you know, I want to see at least 8, but 8 is a minimum. Okay.
That was not good enough.
But that's good. You know, I wanted to do with me. So here, so instead of giving the monthly situation, right?
Okay, so what I was asking about. When
Wow.
I click to download it, this is what it was out as, and I can't like save it and then move it to the tab.
Just keep it in your everything, it's just like on a computer.
I'm not sure,
Yes.
maybe I should.
No, that's okay. Even if you save this one, that means
Mine
you
has
can
no
do
tab.
great.
I can't save it. That's the thing.
Okay, thank you.
Usually there
I don't know how
is.
you.
That's what I was-
Files.
Do you have the same numbers as you?
There is a
On the left
where
side?
is can you do
I
a blackboard?
Yeah, this is, I don't know why, I thought I pulled the, like where he's got before, and then you just, you go back to the month. Okay,
Close all those.
no, yours are like one, five, you just, I mean, I followed you if you were on there, and mine was like yours.
So how did you follow
All the way
it?
up to the-
So did you?
Is he 500?
Did you do it? Oh, yeah, okay.
Mine is upstairs.
So if you
Here,
click on it,
edit
it just.
access.
Yeah, when I click on it, it just pops up.
Okay.
We can hit undo once we get there, right? I know this is a text file. like,
I'm not gonna fly, cause that would make it permanent. Might hit okay.
Here's the back button.
You mean this bad boy? Yeah,
We have
alright,
access.
what does it do?
It all goes back.
Yep.
It didn't do it.
Is it doing anything for us?
Yeah.
Did it tick marks?
Can you do command off? Use command off. Command off.
Tick marks are every 50.
Can you select all the time? Okay, and then
It was
command C
1,500,
for copy.
152, 253, 254, but that still doesn't mean where I'm going in 500.
And then you copy.
Did you see like how his goes from the 0 to 400? Mine doesn't look like that.
That's, I got my leg. That's something.
How did you get yours to look like that?
I should be yours.
And that's the beauty of it, right? That's the beauty. Where'd you get the data from the file that I uploaded?
Yeah.
Got it. Oh my God.
Right.
It's so good, right? But I didn't get a hold of that.
So you have to do
Like, it gave me,
those texts.
I got the
This is
dots.
2016 version.
I don't even have that. I'm not sure why.
Text to copy.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah,
that.
I don't even have it. Just have the dots.
Are you texting me that?
Excel into even
Yeah.
Well, I just, it just won't let me do the math, so it'll say. Like, if I.
it's a common in the
This is how it's online, I would not, cannot be.
Well,
The intro, GPSs or the intranet.
it's okay, W will do it's off. Yeah, you got it.
This one.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Right. I wasn't expecting you to behave like that.
Sure. So when I use the show me, it's usually the colors and see if the category bar here. Oh, that's very large. Part of the world.
Thank you. Oh, wait, I guess I'm different now.
Oh, I can too.
Wait,
Look.
It's never good.
No, you just go through color.
where'd you
Right.
go?
And you automatically tell that it's here.
No. So you have to drag it onto one of them.
And it'll automatically say,
Yes.
okay.
Because, yes.
This is the one he
No,
used,
from the
not that
subject,
one.
you want to use.
Son of a dude. Hey,
No,
okay.
this is,
Mom didn't really need one. There was a second
I don't know.
one. Did not take a breach.
But I'm pretty sure.
So if I wanted to do instead of.
But that's how you learn.
Oh, anything to do it.
Right.
Yeah, just drag it there and you can do it.
And, but mine is
It's a
the.
weird thing, but.
Yeah, you can do it. Just go back.
Yeah.
Has
Yeah, I'll
Jan.
just go back.
Hi.
Yeah, that's the thing. The more you know play with, the more you know love.
Right, right.
So the biggest thing is coming up with
The data at the bottom.
kind of a strategic course you want to ask the data set.
Yeah.
What do you want? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was saying,
That's what I want to see.
Exactly.
but I have.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's going to do, you can just drag and drop. But it might not make much of sense. And that's the key. When you're doing the project, that's what I want. Data is data, technology is there. You can click it, it's going to generate the graph. But is it making any sense?
Right.
That's where you have to bring your intuition, your judgment, how you would like to visualize the data. Yes.
Oh, check that out. Well, I like how it's.
We're doing text class. Did you store that text file? You had to go to the Blackboard, right?
Yeah.
Where did you save that file? Text file? Yeah, just
So,
yeah, that's
those
good.
are what it's like. Make sure. That's like. I wasn't gonna go to this, but then that's why I started watching about the dashboard.
Yeah, I think what I did wrong, I did Excel and not Tableau.
Next time, ask me right there. I want you guys to be with me. So, but the good thing is I'm recording it, I'm not doing it on the YouTube.
Oh, I'm not playing.
But yeah.
I mean, what source are you able to see it?
Wow, it's taking.
You know what, I think.
I have a pretty old laptop.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna take some time. Yeah. You think you can catch it up?
Yeah, yeah, I know, I started watching the video.
So let's do one thing. We're gonna we build 3 charts here, right? So let's go ahead and do a dashboard. So what we can do is we can bring all these 3 things under one umbrella and see how they're interacting with each other. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna click on dashboard here. Okay. So I can give it a name like building Seattle, right? And then once you click on the dashboard, you'll see all the charts that you have created so far. Okay, on the top, right? Now, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna, let's say the timeline, right? So you had to here, you had to play with it. Otherwise, you might not get it right in the first time. Okay, but I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna bring my timeline first. I'm gonna bring it here. Okay, and then here the view I'm going to change it to automatic. Otherwise it's not going to look, it might go outside the screen. Okay, so make sure you change that to automatic. Right now I can bring other things here as well. For example, I'm going to bring the map. I'm going to bring the map on the top of this one, so you have the map there. Are you with me? Right, so map has these 3 things with it, right? Category, issue date, and the values, which we're going to deal with later. Okay, but I want bar chart on the right side here, so I'm going to put the bar chart there, right? So you have all this thing under one umbrella, and that's what we call a dashboard. That dashboard could be one quotient. Okay, so as I said, one quotient can have many sub quotients. So dashboard will be one quotient, one strategic quotient that you're trying to answer with the use of 3 charts. That's quite possible. Okay, so let's see what else we can do here. Okay, a lot of cool things we can do here. First of all, let's do some formatting here. For example, you can make this categories and everything here floating. So this is right now tiled. So what we can do is you can once you click on this category here, you can click here floating. You see that here, floating here, or you can drop this small caret here and say floating, right? So if you do that, you can then just drag this one and bring it here. Okay, so because this goes to here, we're going to bring it here. Okay, you can also make it a little shorter so that you can have a better view for your map. So I'm gonna bring it short, make it a little shorter here. Right, does it make sense to you? Right, this thing what you can do is you can switch off this titles so that you can get more space to work on. So for example, here map, you can drop the caret here, or I'm going to just click on here. So show title is off here, show title is off here, and show title is off here. Right, are you with me? Right now what I can do here is I can make this fill the entire space. I'm going to say here entire view here, so it's going to fill up the entire view here. Right, we can also make this as floating. So I'm going to say drop it down and say floating and bring it here, because this is for the map. I can make this map a little larger here. Right, so you can do a lot of adjustment you want here. Yeah, right, so we're going to do a lot of cool things here, but you see how you can format it to your advantage. So easy to do it, right? Any questions so far? So I'm gonna do this thing here. I'm gonna bring it on the top here. You can do it, you know. So bring the timeline on the top here, okay. And probably I'm gonna leave the thing there, but you have the timeline there in this map here. So that's gonna give you more space to look at the data, right? Right. Okay. Now, what else would you like to see here? When it comes to the interactivity, for example, what I want to see here is, first of all, when I select the time here, it's only updating the map. It's not updating other things, right? So I can format this one so that when you select the timeline, it's gonna affect all the charts in the dashboard. Okay, and that's very easy to do. So here I can drop down this caret here. I'm gonna say apply to worksheet. I'm gonna say all using this data source. Right now, if you select the timeline, you're gonna see it's gonna affecting all the charts, not just the map. Are you with me? Right? See, it looks so easy, but behind the scene, you see how much is going on and how powerful is this charting visualization is. In the matter of minutes, which if you use Excel, it could take a day or two to come up with this kind of visualization. Probably you might not even get to this kind of visualization at all. But with the Tableau, you know, it's just a matter of few clicks and knowing what you want to do, and it can get a very cool maps for you. Now, what I also want to do is I want to use this chart itself as a filter. For example, if I select a single family duplex there, it should accordingly reflect across all the charts. Are you with me? Right? So again, it's very easy here. All we have to do is you can click on this use as a filter icon there, or you can drop it down and say use as filter. Either way is gonna work. Okay. Now you see the beauty of it. So you can just select, okay, I want interested in multi-family home. They are not, you're not issuing as many permits as you want. You can see the value here, like most of the value is high value permits are being around the center of the city, right? And you see the pattern here for that thing here. It looks like very stable, although it tends to go up at the start of the year. Okay. Okay. So I can go to the timeline here, and okay, right now I'm just showing you the multi-family, right? So let's go back to here, and you have to click outside somewhere to get rid of the filter. Okay. Yeah, so this was a timeline we had, right? Right. Likewise, you can use this one as a filter as well. So for example, I'm going to click here. I'm going to say use as a filter. So you click on one particular line, it's gonna accordingly update all the views, right? So for example, this is a commercial here. You can see most of the construction commercial big value projects are happening again at the center of the city, right? So a lot of cool visualization, right? So what do you think about the Tableau? Right? Do you think it could be useful in your work as well? How many of you think you can use this kind of tool in your work and it's gonna help make this for you? I know for sure.
Everything, just from like being able to.
Right.
I
guess.
Like your sales of the product form,
Right.
and which fragrance is at what time.
Right.
About future sales. So,
Future
yeah,
sales.
like
And,
everything across the whole board.
right. Right. So,
You know,
but probably you cannot tell the management like.
oh yeah, I can tell, yeah.
Yeah, see, what you can do is maybe you can create some cool visualization and put it
We're
on.
trying to actually create a dashboard,
Okay.
and let me say, no.
They-
When I went through this, I was like, yeah, because when they tried to do it, it was basically IT created from scratch.
Right.
Again, from Excel, and
Right. Right.
you have a VP of sales trying to say this is what I want,
Right.
IT trying to interpret that, create
Right.
a dashboard,
Right.
and then you have sales managers and
Right.
business units trying to use it
Right.
and clicking, and things are
Right.
showing what they're supposed to, and it was supposed to be an easy way for a VP
Right.
to pull the data up and say 20%, 80%, whatever percentage
Right.
of my goal, where am I at? And it's almost
Right.
been about 8 months
Right.
that they're still trying, because it's not the only project, you know what I mean? Like you have
Right.
everybody pushing for their IT
Right.
project.
Right. Right. Right.
And
So
that doesn't make,
yeah.
in essence, that kind of project doesn't make a company money.
Right.
It might make
Right.
it more efficient, which actually is money,
Yes.
but unless you're able to articulate that
Right.
as trying to push that project through,
Right.
then it kind of always gets to these back burners.
Right.
So that's why.
But probably if you push this project through, it has high chances they're gonna see the value because these could be used across the business
With
units.
all the factories, all the
Yes.
reports, everything, and also with our factory overseas,
Right.
they're not connected data-wise
Right.
with them. They're two separate books
Right.
that actually have to get, because we're subsidiaries of the factory over in India,
Right.
collected together.
Where you have factory in India, by the way?
It's primacy in
Yeah.
India. It's we have one out of Mumbai,
Mumbai.
and then there's also in
Bangalore.
Gujarat.
Gujarat.
Yes, yes.
Where-
Like primacy,
Okay.
actually was on, my whole factory burned down about 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And they rebuilt it
Wow.
in about 6 months
Wow.
over in India. And then we had to use our other factory, Gotham, I think is a family that is the
Oh.
primary owners of the,
Oh.
over in primacy. So the main area is definitely like Bangalore. We ship out of Mumbai, Cochin,
Oh, okay.
over in that area too.
Oh.
So it's actually a family-owned business from
Family-owned business,
Charleston
okay.
with a partnership over in India. And then they also sell to like Australia and Europe as well.
Hmm.
And candle manufacturing. You didn't know candles were that big of a thing, but they are.
Wow.
You didn't know, but they are.
Wow. So you get the chance to go
I
across.
have not gone
Not-
over.
yeah,
I've
okay.
heard of people going over to India for the first time.
Right.
And the driving.
Right.
And they're very, like, you
Right.
wouldn't believe there's like the cars are like this,
Right,
and then like
right.
a guy like tried to fit, and they're like, you
Right,
know,
it's
but
very- There are
other
no.
than that, like we've had a couple of people who've gone over there
Right.
and visited the factory, and we saw it. It's huge. It's
Right.
huge. It's a lot of manpower. It's a lot of work over there.
Right. Right.
And
Wow.
then they come over to, because our factory is much larger,
Right.
go over to our area, and we're like, yeah, we have a smaller factory. We actually have two.
Right.
We have two, one in Kentucky and then one in Elton, and that one we actually purchased through an acquisition.
So you make things here in United States, or mainly you get it from outside and assemble or do other stuff?
Usually you're going to acquire your glass from overseas,
Okay.
because it can be more cost effective at times
Right.
relative to domestic manufacturing,
Right.
because the cost of labor and everything's a lot higher.
Right.
So depending
Right.
on who actually has the best bottom line is where we will acquire our glass.
Right.
Also, the glass depends on if it has to pass certain testing. There's
Mm.
certain annealing testing, QC testing, that when you put a fire to it, it doesn't explode in 5 minutes. So some of those are a little bit of the parameters
Right.
on where you acquire. India
Mhm.
does like to keep a lot of theirs, because we also have a printer
Mm-hmm.
locally for
Mm-hmm.
that. So like we will print manufactured domestically, we will print and with using domestic manufacturing. Same with our big boxes, master cartons, things of that nature. Overseas though, when you make a wax melt,
Mm-hmm.
that acetate is a lot more cost effective because we make so many of them. The same mold is used for multiple customers. And when I say multiple, like you're going to ship them 500,000 pieces of 3 different fragrances. Like some of our programs are over 1 million pieces just for one product form across maybe 6 or 7 fragrances.
Wow.
And so the molds will come from overseas in China because it's just a lot more cost effective
Right.
on what that, and then bringing it from here, like acetate lids. Glass, not so much. And honestly, and everybody talks about jobs moving overseas,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot cheaper.
Right.
I manufacture domestically and I manufacture overseas,
Right.
and there's several items that are a
Hmm.
lot more cost effective, and a lot of your retailers are going direct import. And recently, when there was a Hong Kong meeting, they all go to Hong Kong, the retail buyers go there, and everybody in Vietnam and China is showing them stuff. Walked in and Ahmed said, all of our prices are 20% lower.
Wow.
Which then in turn made the buyers come to us,
Right.
asking us to lower our costs,
Wow.
which makes us go to our domestic supplier to lower
There
his
you
cost.
go.
And you just see like this
Chain effect.
triple effect of
Right.
trying to compete.
Right.
And honestly, a jar that was costing me about $1.80, $1.90 to make in the US is only costing me like $1.40 overseas.
Right.
And when you distribute the cost of the freight
Right.
over about, because you can only put like 44,000 pounds on a container. Unless you go to Charleston, you can get weighted containers, and it's actually better. That's where we were in Charleston.
Mhm.
It costs them so much less. They're making more money
Mhm.
manufacturing for what we sold it to them landing than when it was being made domestic.
Wow.
So it really is
Wow.
sometimes a lot more
Competition.
cost effective, right? And I know everyone's like, oh, don't lose our jobs, but you don't want to pay American prices.
Right.
It's really, some of it's
Yes.
really expensive. And a lot
Yeah.
of companies now have social audits, they have ethical audits, they go and they check the factories, and every one of them does, especially Walmart. Walmart's your standard.
Mhm.
If Walmart says you pass, then you let your other retailers know. They feel a lot more comfortable knowing that it's passed the Walmart standard when they inspected the factory, when they inspected. And they go in the logbooks and they check their hours. When you get inspected for a social audit, your hours get checked.
But I also heard like if you're conducting a business with Walmart, they expect some kind of information system infrastructure for their suppliers.
What Walmart wants is for you to have your company representative, they're their corporate office.
Okay.
So one of our people live and work 5 minutes away from corporate at Walmart. So he can go in anytime for any meeting to have a meeting with Walmart.
But you don't have any, usually when Walmart places order, they do it online.
Right, we do still have our EDI system.
Okay.
So everything comes in through EDI.
Yeah.
And here's like where the double work comes in.
All right.
Is if it's being made overseas, we call it, there's two kind of direct import support, one
Right.
with our support, one directly with the factory. So when
Right.
it comes to EDI with us, guess what we get to do?
Mm.
Hand type an order in Excel
Wow.
based upon what came in through EDI. So it comes in the system, you run your open sales data, do your pivots, basically to
Right.
create the simplest information in order to create the purchase order. The factory, the problem is
Right.
the purchase order that comes from the customer through the system,
Right.
there's data that's never going to be on there,
All right.
but the factory needs to manufacture. You will not have your fragrance number, you will not have your Pantone number, you will not have the jar number, the lid number, like all your raw materials to create that finished good.
Wow.
So you see how when you're going
Right.
from an ordering a finished good to creating the order of the factory, that's where the human body comes in.
Wow.
Because we keep track of all the approved fragrances. and
This
how
needs to be automated.
Hmm?
This needs to be automated. Using information system because.
But the other thing is too, buyers change their mind a lot,
Right.
and at the last minute. And it causes that
Right.
snowball effect where you're talking to
Yeah.
the factory at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to figure it out. Which we've done, which I've done, because that's what you do for retail.
Right.
You ever talk to anybody retail, that's what buyers do.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
what they do.
interesting to know. Yeah. Yeah. So back there, you have any questions about this thing, or did you solve it?
I have my business obviously, a similar application like that, but right now I'm going through like an acquisition of a business for about $500,000. And I have to go to the banks for lunches, so this is something that I go to my raw data for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Give them a visualization.
And that's a little way.
Yeah,
Keep it simple.
You're right. Right.
They'd rather look at one page and get everything than look at like 20 pages.
You're right. Right.
And you don't want to spend 20 hours to make that.
This we can leverage it further. Like let's go ahead and put this on the web and see how quickly we can put it on the web. So if I wish to put this on the web, what I'm going to do here is I can go to the server here, okay, and okay, Tableau public. You need to create a user ID the first time if you don't have it. But I'm going to do Tableau public is the server where you can upload this map there. So for example, I'm going to go to save to Tableau public as, okay. I'm going to save. again, if you don't have the account with them, it's a free account. You need to create with them. Once you create the account, you log in. Okay. And I can give any name I want. Let's see, I'm gonna override that one. Okay, now that's another thing. Tableau server you're publishing to does not permit external data connection. Okay, so you have, it's asking me to convert that data into Tableau format. So what I'm going to do here is that this is something you have to keep in mind. So I will go to the data source here, the first window. Right now the connection is live. What I'm going to do is I'm going to extract it and make a copy in the format of Tableau data source. Okay, so then we should be able to upload it onto the server. So if you do that, if you click on any of this chart here, let's say this one, is going to ask me to save that data source. So let's go to the desktop, and I have that folder there, right? Tableau public in class. I'm going to save it there. So this Tableau data extract is a very efficient database engine. So it's gonna, what it's gonna do is it's gonna compress all this big file into small file, which will be a lot easier to upload onto the server over the internet. So if you go to the desktop here, you see that thing here, building permit, that was not there before. Now it's a Tableau extract data format. And see, it took like 17 MB of file, compressed it to 12 MB. So it already saved 5 MB of data. And that's a lot, right? So if you are having a much bigger file, you can see it can compress it to pretty small size, right? So once you do this, now you should be able to upload the data onto the Tableau server. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to the server here. Tableau public, save to Tableau public as, let's say here, building Seattle, right? See, it was just 1 or 2 clicks, right? It put everything onto the server. And this is like in web. That means you can share this thing with anyone you want. So there are some minor details if you want to put it in, but this is on the web and it's fully functional. So for example, edit details, you can put I don't know what this perma link is. I guess you can put your website address here and it is going to be linked to that website. Okay, you can put the description here, and not only that, you can share it. For example, there is a share button here, right? If you click on the share, you can copy this link and email it to anyone. Okay, or you can embed this in your website as well. Okay, if you want. You can also download the data if you want. So for example, you want to download the PDF file, the Tableau workbook, the cross tab, the data itself, you should be able to download it right from the web. Okay, are you with me? Right, and then all these things are so interactive. For example, you click on one thing, you are not losing your interactivity even if you're on web, right? So this is fully functional. You can change the dates here as well, right? And you can just share it. For example, I'm just gonna copy this one and open another window here, or email it to someone and give this link, and they should be able to open up that view, right? So you don't need to do any coding for that. It's so easy to upload it on the server, right? So So and when it comes to the saving file, keep this in mind. This is how you're going to be saving it, because there are many different formats for the Tableau to save it. But the one you want to do it is file save as. You want to save it as a package, because packaged workbook contains the data with it. And why you need it? Because you're going to be working in a group. Okay, so if you do something and you want to pass it on to some of your friends so that he can add his stuff on it, so you would just email that packaged file. Okay, and again, you can go to the Tableau and see the different uh, types of the file format they have. I'm going to show you that thing, but right now let's go to the desktop here, and I'm going to save that Tableau format in my folder. Okay, so if I go to that folder here, so it did create this file, building CRL Tableau package file. Okay, and it has that data contained in it. Okay, so you can just email this file to anyone, and then they can work on it the same way you can. What are the different file formats are there? For example, I can just Google it, like Tableau file types or extension. Okay, so it tells you everything. There's a Tableau workbook, Tableau package. What's the difference? So workbook, I guess it's just an XML file. You can see all your charts, but it doesn't have the data with it. Tableau package saves the data with it, right? So we also saw something called Tableau data extract, which are highly optimized, highly compressed subset of your data stored in a columnar database. Columnar database are high efficiency databases which are mainly used for storing big data, right? So a lot of cool things. Again, you can always go back to the Tableau and do more research about what different features you can use. Next time what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to another data set. We're going to do some more cool things next time. Next time what I'll do is I'll show you how we can create a Pareto chart in Tableau. Okay, and I want you to work with me. Okay, so that we can all work it out in class and practice it that way. Okay, so when it comes to Tableau, that's all I had for today. Okay, if you don't have any question, what we can do is I can cover those. We can discuss those cases. Okay, that's going to take more or less half an hour, and then probably we can stop here. And if you want, some of you can work on this data set, and I'll be more than happy to help you out for the remaining time. Okay, so tell me, what do you think about Tableau? What do you, what's your experience so far when you see this kind of visualization? Do you think this is helpful? Do you think maybe it looks too flashy? It doesn't have substance? What do you think? Like, you are all executives. I know more about
Direct application,
Okay.
absolutely.
Do you think it's going to help you as a decision maker in making decisions?
I just think it's a way that you can manipulate the data so much quicker than with using Excel
Right.
and extracting information from the data set that's needed that much quicker
Right.
than with Excel. You can, not the map, the bar chart and the timeline at the bottom. That
Right.
stuff can be done in Excel.
Right.
I do that regularly, but you get it, you just drag and drop.
Drag and drop here, yes.
With Excel, you're digging through which chart works the best, and this, that, it takes you 30, 45 minutes to develop that chart.
Right.
And that's 2 seconds versus literally 30 minutes or so.
Right. Right.
To make sure that you have the correct data that you're trying
Right.
to show or to visualize.
Right. Yeah.
And that's huge.
Right.
I'm
See, this
gonna have to
thing.
do some more research on the application, but I'm going to present this to the people I work with at work. You're like, can we get this?
Yeah. So
Or like,
this
I get it.
Tableau public is free. But otherwise, Tableau desktop version that I'm using, it's paid. But I think it's well worth it. You can do a lot of things. I guess let's say here, you want to show me, let's say, year over year growth. So I know you can do that here, but okay, it's not showing me.
Weren't you looking for percentage of total and differences?
Say it again. Percent difference.
Like, yeah, it was showing like percentage of
Right.
total, so.
Percentage of total
Right,
there.
so it looks like it'll.
Right. So it's gonna do that as well. I need to see how and what it's gonna do. So it's just adding one thing here. So this has to be put in perspective. Right. So right now it might not make much of a sense here, but I have seen in the data where you can do year over year growth, just one click and it's going to do all that for you. Now, this is not a financial data. I guess if it is a financial data, you should be able to figure it out. We're going to do some of this quick calculation, table calculations next time. Why it's not showing me year over year growth? Showing me 1 year. So yeah. Okay, I need to figure that one out. But so that's all I had for the Tableau. Any questions on Tableau? Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording here because I'll post this on the YouTube and I'll send you the email. But for the case discussion, I don't need it. So let's see, all